and see if I can figure out how the hell this thing works. I want to see live chats. All right, let's see if we could see that. All right, everybody, we are here. Oh, there we go. I think that's what I'm looking for. All right. All right, we can get going. Hey, everybody. Just a guy having fun, also known as John. Uh, so, giving you guys an update. Everybody's been asking me for an update in the comments and on my assault with Officer Borback that happened on September 2nd. First of all, I want to give some credit and some thank you for some support. Uh, Man, shout out goes to DPN. No specific order, by the way. DPN, Lackluster, Direct D, Arizona Auditor, Phil Martinez, and Hey Guys Live. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. But those guys um, have been very supportive and reached out, and I'm thankful. So thank you for that. Met with, well, first of all, I took some notes. Struggled with this. This is my second live. The first one didn't go well. So my second one. So I took some notes. Hopefully we can do better. So updating Officer Borback. A couple of questions everybody was asking. There are file charges. Yes. So after I got home from filing my complaint with Sergeant Forbes, I was gonna let it sit, and then I got a call, an unsolicited call from the Phoenix Police Department SIU. And they wanted to know if I wanted to file charges for the assault. And you know, you have that conversation in your head that it's like a 20-minute conversation. You have it in like a half a second in your head. Yeah, I had that, and it was just the totality of the circumstances of the gross misunderstanding constitutionally of the Fifth Amendment by two officers with a combined experience of what, 45 years at least. So yeah, I pressed charges, and they're still investigating themselves. The last I heard was on October 5th. I heard from the SIU unit detective handling the case that the case is complete. It's working its way up and down the ladder. Today is December 14th. And yeah, they're still investigating themselves. Professional standards bureaus won't touch it until SIU is done with the criminal investigation. Public records. Have I requested public records? Yes, I have. And they've been denied. So, did I get an attorney? Getting an attorney is difficult, people. They cost a lot of money, even just to get one to sit down and talk with you. I'm not a rich guy. I'm not in this for a lawsuit. I'm not in this for change. Check that. I'm not in this for a lawsuit. I'm not in this for money. I am in this for change. So, media. Have I talked to the media? I've reached out to one, and they were not interested in taking the story. So, why haven't I pursued it further and faster and harder? Because it's a long game. I've been here before. You've probably seen it on my channel. I've worked through the legislative process. I understand how the sausage is made. And it's a long game. The loudest person in the room doesn't win. Intellect over emotion. That's how this game is played. So that's why you haven't seen a lot of videos on it, a lot of updates, but they've been investigating themselves for 3 months. I've had some time to think about it and how I want to go about affecting change, not just accountability of Officer Borback, because it goes beyond that. So how I've done that: access your government, people. It's not difficult. Not all the time, but you got to ask. Old saying, closed mouth don't get fed, right? So if you don't ask to speak with your government, how is your government going to hear you? Other than standing out, holding a sign, screaming and yelling. Again, screaming and yelling, the loudest one in the room doesn't always win. So I called my senator, my Arizona state legislative senator, not my two knuckleheads in Washington. This is my local representative, because change is done locally. If you think you're going to change Washington, you're sadly mistaken. So I reached out, make change here locally. Let's start in Arizona. I have a relationship with the senator that I reached out to. Her name is Senator Nancy Bartow, and she worked with me again before when we changed the law on school safety to make kids in Arizona a little bit safer, and had a very productive meeting, very encouraging meeting. No promises were made, but I felt that she heard me. She didn't make excuses for behavior. So I went in. And part of the message I really want to get to people is, when you go in to talk to government, just about anybody, when you go in, you can't just go in screaming and yelling, I have a problem, somebody did me wrong. You have to come in with a rational solution, right? And that's what I did before. It was effective, so that's what I did again. And so I went in and I asked for three things. And we'll let you know what those asks were as we go through this. But I went into Representative Bartow's office, Senator Bartow. She graciously accepted me in, and we had a one-on-one conversation. I didn't feel rushed. She just let me talk. It was awesome. And if you guys have seen my videos, and those of you who watched the complaint video, yeah, I'm long-winded. I know it. Ask my wife. Went in, she was awesome. And I told her what happened. And I won't get into all the details here. You guys have seen it. But basically what it boiled down to is we had two officers of about 45 years who did not understand the Fifth Amendment, who had a gross fundamental misunderstanding of the Fifth Amendment. And explained to her that nothing she didn't know, that, the Fifth Amendment's been around since 200 years plus. And I quoted, some case law to her to, kind of make the point that, I'm an educated citizen, but I'm not alone in being an educated citizen. More and more of us are becoming educated. I quoted Watts v. Indiana, 1949, Judge Jackson Roberts told us that any lawyer worth his salt would tell a suspect not to speak to the police under any circumstances. That comes from the Supreme Court. I also quoted Ohio versus Renner, 1951. It basically reaffirmed Watts v. Indiana when it said, and I'm not quoting, something to the effect of, even the words of an innocent witness can unwittingly provide incriminating evidence against himself. So why would you talk to police? It's not that we don't want to be cooperative. It's not that we don't want to help. Man, if I think you're trying to do an investigation against me, I'm going to wrap myself in the protections of the blankets of my constitutional protection, and don't hold it against me. It's not personal. So if basically what it boiled down to was, if they don't know my constitutional rights, how can they protect them? And what it boiled down to, there's only two things. When Officer Borback said that my son had to answer questions because it's the law, He either had a fundamental misunderstanding of the Constitution or he lied. There's no other answer. And for a law enforcement, that's not acceptable. You know, just reinforce that, you know, we hired them to enforce law with a constitutional mindset, not a revenue generator and a tracking force. We talked about public records and the denial of public records and not following law and making policy that contradicts the law. In my specific case, I provided her examples of how that happened. I won't detail it and bore you here, but you know, so I think, and I expressed to her that if we can get our law enforcement agencies to be working in a constitutional mindset of servitude, right? When they're questioned either by a subordinate or by a citizen, a superior, they don't take it as being confrontational, because most of us know the law better than those we hire to enforce it. That's becoming more and more so across the country. So that's the why, right? You know, and I talked to her about why people are picking up cameras. So all you people who supported me, and, you know, don't think that your work goes in vain, that it's not educational. Well, I don't agree with everybody's style. That's okay. We're all individuals, and as long as you aren't hurting people, life, liberty, or property, and you're working towards a good cause and have the right intent in your heart, go for it, you know. But we talked about that, and we talked about how activists aren't born, they're created. And each one of those people that picked up a camera and decided to record government didn't do it for clicks and views. They did it because something happened to them, and they want to hold their government accountable going forward. So, all right, my ask. Let's get to the asks. What did I ask for in this meeting? Right? Because we don't come to the table just whining that we have a problem, the government's horrible, right? We have to come to a solution. And in my opinion, we didn't get here with the way we've been doing policing overnight. And we're not going to fix it overnight. So, how do we fix it? Focus on the long game, right? Focus on the long game. Constitutional training for all Arizona law enforcement in the academy and then ongoing throughout their career. Reasonable ask. Let's get our law enforcement back into a constitutional mindset. So that's what I asked for. I didn't ask for a specific amount of time, but, you know, we'll get into that when the sausage is made. But constitutional training for all law enforcement in the academy and going forward. So as we discussed that, she kind of politely interrupts me and says, you know, something to the effect of the timing of this meeting is incredible. My ears perked up, obviously. And she made reference to another area of government that she's looking into, or not looking into, I should say, concerned about. Better choice of words. And it was interesting that I brought this up in the time that I did, that happens to be simultaneous to something that she's looking into that I found interesting, but I will not disclose that. I won't break that trust. So I thought that was interesting after I brought up constitutional training for law enforcement. Let me just say that those of you out there, we're not alone. So I said to her, that really takes me to my third ask. I'm going to skip right over the second one. We'll get back to it. But my third ask is we need to make it prohibitive for law enforcement to lie to citizens about their constitutional rights. Period. It's not tolerable. We have a system that we can't continue down the road we're in. And I'm of the opinion that it's okay for law enforcement to lie to people in the course of their investigation to get bad guys, right? I think it's petty. It's a day-old question. Do you know how fast you're going? So they can get you guilty on a traffic ticket. Ridiculous. But having said that, if they got to lie to somebody and say they have 47 witnesses to you pulling the trigger when they don't have any because they really think that that you got it, they got you, let them take that shot, right? But they cannot lie to you about your constitutional rights. They can't tell you that you have to answer questions because it's the law. It's wrong. You can't do it. So, and my ask number one, constitutional training for all law enforcement in the academy and ongoing throughout their careers. I mean, should be like a safety in a meeting. Should be in every meeting. Constitution should be in every meeting, just like safety, I'm sure, is in every law enforcement meeting. All right, so constitutional training. Make it prohibitive for law enforcement to lie to you about your constitutional rights. And hey, exactly. If they don't know the law, if they don't know your rights, how can they protect your rights? They just can't do it. So my third ask from my government, from my legislature, is that we make it mandatory to have complaint forms and FOIA forms in the lobby of every police station. And this was an interesting part of the conversation because it's a similar answer I hear all the time when we see the First Amendment audits and things of that nature. It's on the internet, right? She asked, because I presented the case, well, why should a 17-year-old or myself who's just been assaulted by a police officer have to go confront the department when there's a 90% chance that the officer that I get is going to come out and try and justify the actions of the officer that I was assaulted by? Why should I have to deal with that? So why can't I just come in, get a piece of paper, and walk out the door? And she was a little surprised that already doesn't happen. So yeah, there was that. And she said, well, aren't they online? Can you do it anonymously online? And I said to her, what if you're homeless? What if you're homeless and have an issue with an officer and don't have access to the internet, but you still need to redress your government and file a complaint against that officer? How do we deal with that? We don't have an avenue to do that because we don't make it mandatory. So those are my three asks: constitutional training in the academy and ongoing throughout their careers, prohibitive to lie to the citizens about their constitutional rights, and mandatory complaint forms and FOIA forms in every lobby of every police station across the state of Arizona. So, very receptive. And as I was handing her some documents to support what I was talking about, I happen to also bring up, throw it up against the wall, see if it sticks, right? I've had a good reception so far. Because something I was stunned about in the process was that, hold on, I'm looking over here to see these comments. I see Let's Go up there. Appreciate you, Let's Go. Everybody go subscribe to Let's Go. And the juvenile process. Did you know, this blew my mind. It also blew Senator Bartow's mind, I think, a little bit. A 16 or 17-year-old, when they get a traffic ticket, they are on their own against the government, right? So my son got a ticket for the accident that he was involved in. We're fighting the ticket, and I think we got a good shot at winning it. But I want a couple things to happen, right? Um, I wanted to use a little known rule that Direct D turned me on to, that you can record in Arizona your own hearing. And I wanted my son to be able to do that. But as I researched that rule, juveniles aren't afforded um, that that ability to document and record their own hearing. Adults can, but juveniles can't. So I want to find out if I can help my son in his defense as his father. Negative ghostwriter, that pattern is full. The government has decided that a 16 or 17-year-old has to either hire legal representation on their own or fight the government, the full power of the government in court, if they want to dispute with representation, either by legal counsel or a parent or guardian. Guys, I couldn't. The dad can't eat. I have to sit in the gallery. Oh, and by the way, they don't provide any evidence whatsoever until the day of trial. Absurd. So she found that really, really interesting. So, is there anything else I missed? Let me check my notes, people. So, next steps. I did ask her about next steps. So, what we got going. Hey, M Star, how are you? I hope you check it out, M Star. I could use some help on this. Next steps. She is going to present some stuff to the staff. Guys, I put a lot on our plate. I mean, I talked about making it illegal for them to lie about constitutional rights. Yeah, hey, M Star, what I'm talking about, hey, go Foos. Hope I got that right, brother. M Star, here's the deal, man. I went out and I went and met my Arizona state legislature today to make an ask on three things. I want constitutional training for all Arizona law enforcement in the academy and going forward. I want it to be prohibitive for all I want it to be prohibitive for law enforcement to lie to citizens about their constitutional rights, right? Lie to them about anything else in the investigation, but they can't lie to you about your constitutional rights. They can't tell you have to answer questions because it's the law. And my third ask was that all police station lobbies have paper complaint forms and FOIA request forms. We as citizens shouldn't have to go in and confront the government we're trying to complain about. Get us a form and let us submit it and get it done. So I have some experience working with Legislator, got a law passed back in 2019 to make schools safer. Now it's mandatory for school teachers, administrators, and faculty, if they hear a threat of death or incident of violence, they have to say something. They didn't have to. Your kids are a little safer. So I'm hoping lightning can strike twice and we can make some more change here in Arizona. But unless anybody's got any question, I want to close with this. Your government is accessible, but you have to ask. Go speak with them. But don't go and just scream and yell. Come with rational solutions to a specific problem. I think that if we can get policing in America back to a constitutional mindset, focusing on life, liberty, and property, not revenue, and tracking citizens, we'll be in a much better place, and we'll have, as the citizenry, will have a much better relationship with our law enforcement and want to be partners with them and not fear them for the power and authority that they feel they hold over us. So that's where we're at, people. I'm going to keep documenting this process. I think it's important for you guys to see how the sausage is made. I didn't record with Senator Bartow today, out of respect. She wasn't comfortable with that. I have a relationship with her. I don't want to betray that trust as we start this project forward, but she does know that I'm going to be documenting the process, and maybe we'll get her on here at some point in the future. What is this? No federal police reform, not enough votes. That's why you got to get active at a local level. If you expect things to change at a federal level, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You guys got to get out there and participate. If you don't do it, who's going to do it? Right? Who is going to do it? If you don't go out and talk to your legislature or your fellow constituents and tell them about how they should vote right here locally, we make change at a local level. You see what happening is going on in the school boards lately? Have you seen that crap? Mama Bear's making change out there. That's what's happening there. Well, this Papa Bear wants to make change, right, through constitutional police reform. I'm going to do it, hopefully, here at a constitutional level. So I think if I can get any one of those 3 or 4 asks successfully passed, that's a win, right? That's a win. Made by one guy who made a phone call to ask to meet with a senator who had an idea for a rational solution. So that's what I'm asking for, people. So contact your legislatures. It's super easy. I want to give you a tip. I'm going to put, after this video is done, I'm going to put some links in the description. But go to populisterevolt.com/action. Click on your state, right? If you go there, what you can do there is you can email with basically one click an entire state legislature to communicate. But you have to make your voice heard. I love these videos on the internet. They've educated me so much. They've inspired me so much. But I tell you what, very few of them have inspired legislative action, right? Unless somebody took action from it. Right? So you gotta take action from it. That's what I'm asking you to do. So if you live in Arizona, email Senator Bartow. I'll put her email in the description below after this broadcast. But go to populisterevolt.com, man. That started from the whole hoo-ha business in the November choosing of 2020. But it's not just a tool for that. So you can reach legislatures, you can reach city councils with a click. These folks they've harvested all the information and made it so easy to contact your government. But go take action. Like I said, if you live in Arizona, please email to Senator Bartow or your representative. Tell them how you feel about constitutional police reform, how you feel about the police lying to you about your constitutional rights, how you feel about police complaint forms being in the office every day. How do you feel about, police having to have mandatory constitutional training, reminding them daily of the oath that they took and the very, very first thing that they swore an oath to honor and uphold, right? Should be in every meeting, every briefing. So that's where we're at. All right, people. My second live, how'd I do? Let me know. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Let me know if I did awesome or did horrible, or always willing to get the feedback. Join me as we go along the process. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts. Thanks for watching. Oh, hey, before I go, I run a little website called don'tbeadick.website. Got some stupid t-shirts on there. I'm just a guy trying to make a little bit of money. But go check it out. T-shirts. Rule number one, don't be a dick. You know, rule number one, don't be a dick. Be a good human. And one of my favorites on the front is suspicious person. The suspicious person across the top. And right below it, it says the ARS 132412. And that's our ID law in Arizona. And it's quoted right there. And any officer calls me a suspicious person, well, I'm well prepared and can point out the law to him right there on my t-shirt. And on the back it says good citizen. Someone who would give up, or those who would give up liberty and freedom for safety or security deserve neither. Benjamin Franklin. So go check that out if you're interested. If you think I should make more of those for other states, and you might be interested in picking one of those up, I'm happy to do that. But hey, I don't know unless you tell me. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Give me a share. Help me spread the word about constitutional police reform. Could that be the answer? M-Star, which statute? You tell me exactly what statute you want, and I'll get it done. Hold on, everybody. I'm getting some kind of delivery.
Hi there.
How are you?
This got dropped to my house 1 block over accidentally, and I thought, oh, I don't know if it's Christmas or not, but I wanted to bring it instead of sending it back.
You're a good human.
Hey.
My son will be very happy.
Oh, good.
Have a good day. You too. Happy holidays. My son got his parts for his car. So, M-Star, tell me what statute you want. Is it 148 subsection G? I never hear anybody quote your ID statute out there, and it's not coming to my head. I mean, everybody knows Texas 3802, and in Florida, was it 1.951? So you guys let me know which statute you want, and I'll put it up just for you, M-Star. You tell me what you want, and I'll make an M-Star version. All right. This is a lot of fun. You had a deputy argue with you about what? Oh, my email. Email me at mystupidmerch@gmail.com. mystupidmerch@gmail.com. All right. You guys just tell me. That's awesome. I love this. Tell me what laws you want. Just drop them in the comments or in the chat. Hey, the other thing I want everybody's feedback is I have those ID cards, and I got a lot of questions about where I got those from. And thinking about putting those together for maybe putting those up as well for different states. I'm not doing it for money, but hey, I want to make it worth my while, make a little beer money on the side. So, or maybe reinvest in the cause with that. But how about the little laminated cards with laws on a lanyard, wrapped in a constitution that says press pass? If you're not familiar with that, go check out my assault video. You'll see how I utilize that. I've had that for a couple of years, and it finally came in handy the one day I needed it. So, all right, guys, I'm really out this time. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Be a good human. How do I end this thing? Peace out.